Солнце встает, золотя купола светом зари. Снова дорога меня привела в Иерусалим. Ты в моем сердце молитвой звучишь.
Good evening, nations of Israel. Once again, Charles Putzace from Central Texas with another exciting topic and Prophecies for the Middle East Part 3. This is obviously a continuation of Prophecies for the Middle East Part 1 and Part 2. And in Part 2, I presented the King of the South, which is to say radical Islam led by Iran and its proxy terrorists, which are Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Muslim Brotherhood. And tonight I'm going to introduce the King of the North. This King of the North is of special significance. And it should be because of several reasons. Number one, it will come against the King of the South, and it will finish what this other king had started against him, which is to provoke the King of the North. What it really means by finishing is really the beginning of World War III. This is prophesied in many of the prophecies of the minor prophets in the Old Testament. So it will happen. You better believe it. We will see a different type of World War III, which will be an all-out nuclear war. But more on that later on. So let us move on to Prophecies for the Middle East Part 3. And to fully understand who this King of the North is, we have to go back and deep into history, not only secular history, but Bible history as well. And that is into history BC and AD. Also, to fully cover his very nature and to fully understand so that we could always, or all of us, I should say, understand who he is. We're going to have to do it in several videos. There's just no way that I could do it in one. So let's move on here and let's notice what the historian Josephus recorded concerning Ashur. Shem, the third son of Noah, had five sons. Ashur lived at the city of Nineveh and named his subjects the Assyrians, who became the most fortunate nation beyond others. And this is in the Book of Antiquities 1, Volume 4, and page 4. Concerning Genesis 14:1, Lang's commentary says, according to the Ketsias and others, the Assyrians were the first to establish a world dominion. This is very important, but let's put it in the back burner there for a little bit. The last king listed in Genesis 14:1 is title, the king of nations. In other words, he ruled the region of Asia Minor. The name title comes from the Hebrew word which means to fear, make afraid, dreadful, and terrible. So for centuries, the Assyrian caused many nations great fear. And we're going to look further in who is this fierce Assyrian. And we can notice that virtually every historian draws attention to the warlike nature of the Assyrian people. For instance, James Maccabee, author of History of the World, says the Assyrian were a fierce, treacherous race, delighting in the dangers of the chase and in war. The Assyrian troops were notably among the most formal formidable of ancient warriors. They never kept faith when it was to their interest to break treaties and were regarded with suspicion by their neighbors in consequence of this characteristic in organization and equipment of their troops, and in their system of attack and defense, and their method of reducing fortified places. The Assyrians manifested a superiority to the nations by which they were surrounded. Dr. Herman Hove, historian and author of Compendium of World History, wrote, Ancient Assyria was the greatest war-making power in all history. James Hastings wrote, the Assyrians of historic times were more robust, warlike, fierce than the mild industrial Babylonians. This may have been due to the influence of climate and insensate warfare, but it may indicate a different type of race. The whole organization of the state was essentially military. Leonard Cottrell in Anvil of Civilization wrote, in all the annals of human conquest, it is difficult to find any people more dedicated to bloodshed and slaughter than the Assyrians. Their ferocity and cruelty have few parallels save in modern times. It is interesting that Cottrell can only compare their ferocity with those in modern times. Many would admit that in the 20th century the Germans were dedicated to much bloodshed. The Encyclopedia Britannica concurs with Dr. Hove's synopsis under Tiglath Pileser, Volume 3, arose the Second Assyrian Empire, which differed from the first in its greater consolidation. For the first time in history, the idea of centralization was introduced into politics. The Assyrian forces became the standing army, which by successive improvements and careful discipline was molded into the irresistible fighting machine. And Assyrian policy was directed towards the definite object of reducing the whole civilized world into a single empire and thereby throwing its trade and wealth into Assyrian hands. Babylonian and Assyrian's 11th edition. By now, you're going to begin to see or notice some definite similarities between ancient Assyria and the modern day Germany that has thrust this world into two great wars, World War One and World War Two, endeavoring to create one single empire. And we're going to touch on that later on. But Daniel 11:36 says the following: And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. The king of the north, who is he? And we could ask that question, and but if we have eyes to see, and if we start to do our homework, and we have to do some research on this, we're going to see that now in the early and middle New Testament times, to which our prophecy has come, in 65 BC, Syria was swallowed up by the Roman Empire and became a Roman province. The Roman emperor now controlled Judea, and therefore the king of the north, here referred to, is at this time the emperor of the Roman Empire. After the push, the king of the north will come at the king of the south like a whirlwind. And we have seen how the king of the south could push at the king of the north. Gesenius lexicon says this about the word whirlwind, used of the commotion of the storm or tempest, to sweep away in a storm, to rush like a tempest, to be fierce as a tempest, with the implication that the people are terror stricken. Strong's Concordance defines it to cause to shiver with fear. This is the type of warfare implemented by the King of the North. This is what we're going to see in the near future. It's blitzkrieg warfare. That is because Germany leads the European combined nations. This 10 nations that will be led by Germany. It will be a nuclear bomb attack, which creates a firestorm. The king of the north will destroy the king of the south. Gesenius lexicon further defines whirlwind as creeping as the skin of a person terror-stricken. That's right. We are now entering such terrifying times. All of the enormous stockpiles of armaments are going to be used. The weapons created by men have always been used. And Bible prophecy tells us how they are going to be employed. That's right. It's all in your Bible. If you want to believe your Bible, if you want to really study your Bible, it's all there. But both of these kings are going to be fighting or vying for power in a very aggressive way. The clash between these two kings is not an insignificant event on the world scene. It is a clash that will alarm the whole world. But this concludes this segment of prophecies for the Middle East, part 3. In our next video, we'll see more about this king of the north, or the Holy Roman Empire, at an AD era. So from Central Texas, Charles Pitsays wishing you blessings to you and your loved ones, and thank you for listening.
Солнце встает, золотя купола светом зари. Снова дорога меня привела в Иерусалим. Ты в моем сердце молитвой звучишь.